It's noon in Kiev. You're watching Our Time. I'll tell you the main news at this hour. I'm Katerina Vishnevska. Hello. Ukraine's defense forces have struck the Saratov oil refinery. This information was confirmed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The refinery supplied fuel and other resources for the needs of the Russian army. In addition, a UAV storage site at the Saki airfield in temporarily occupied Crimea was hit. Air defense facilities were destroyed, along with a hangar containing Orion and four-post drones, and the command and control center, as well as a military truck, were also struck. In addition, areas where enemy personnel were concentrated and fuel depots in Donetsk and Luhansk regions were attacked. Ukraine will not give up its territories for the sake of peace. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy will not sign any such document. This was stated by the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak. According to him, no one should count on concessions, and at the next stage of negotiations, the president will draw a red line regarding the territories temporarily occupied by Russia.
As long as Zelenskyy is president, that we will give up our territories. He will not sign an agreement to relinquish territories. No one can do that unless they want to go against the constitution of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. Right now, we can realistically only talk about defining the boundaries of the line of contact. That is what we have to do. Andriy Yermak, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, in an interview with The Atlantic.
China supports peace talks on Ukraine. This was stated by Mao Ning, the official spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry. According to her, Beijing welcomes any efforts aimed at establishing peace. China is holding dialogue with all parties, including Ukraine and Russia. Mao Ning noted that peaceful dialogue remains the only viable path to resolving the war. And China intends to end the war in Ukraine as soon as possible, making every effort to do so.
China has always supported and continues to support peaceful dialogue and negotiations as the only viable path to ending the war. From the very beginning, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a responsible major country, China has always engaged with all parties, including Ukraine and Russia, and has played a constructive role in seeking a political solution to the conflict. Mao Ning, spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
The European Commission has called on Western allies to speed up payments to Ukraine. This refers to the G7 loan of $50 billion. This was stated by European Commissioner for Economy Valdis Dombrovskis. According to him, this may be enough to cover Ukraine's financing needs in the first quarter of next year. The European Commission is holding talks with other international donors. These include the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, and the United States. The EU has already provided its share of the loan. This amounts to more than 18 billion euros, but about 14 billion from other countries remain unpaid. Ukraine and the Czech Republic discussed the supply of artillery shells. This was reported by the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. The Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Serhiy Boyev, met with the Director of Czech Defense Cooperation, Aleš Vitočka. The parties focused on the ammunition initiative, discussed delivery timelines, as well as the available quantities for the acquired calibers. Boyev stated that Ukraine needs longer-range munitions. They give Ukrainian servicemen an advantage on the battlefield. He also emphasized the important role of the Czech Republic in ensuring stable supplies, and thanked Prague for its ongoing support. All Ukrainian nuclear power plants have fully restored their capacity after the Russian attacks. This was stated in a statement by the International Atomic Energy Agency. At the power units of the Khmelnytsky, Rivne, and South Ukraine nuclear power plants, electricity production has been largely restored. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi stated that the agency will send a mission to inspect several critically important substations. Damage to them could seriously affect the operation of nuclear power plants and nuclear safety. This will be the agency's sixth such mission.
Almost all power units are now operating at full capacity. Only one unit remains at reduced capacity. In addition, all high-voltage power lines that were damaged during the attacks have been restored. Rafael Grossi, Director General of the IAEA, and a statement from the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Teenagers recruited by Russia were preparing caches with explosives for terrorist attacks in western Ukraine. They were exposed by the SBU counterintelligence. 3 members of the group have been detained, a 20-year-old from Kharkiv, a 16-year-old schoolgirl, and a 17-year-old young man from Rivne region. The investigation established that all of them had been recruited through Telegram channels under the pretense of easy part-time work. Russian special services used the teenagers as couriers. They were instructed to create hiding places with components of improvised explosive devices. The SBU documented the crime and neutralized all the caches containing explosive components. Russia has carried out another cyber attack against the United States. The goal was covert access to urban infrastructure systems. This was reported by the Center for Countering Disinformation under the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine. Hackers infiltrated the network of an American engineering company that works with contractors in the water supply sector, as well as transportation and emergency response. They obtained information about internal processes and access levels. The attack was carried out using a special tool that is often used by criminal groups. Russian intelligence agencies disguise themselves as these groups. As emphasized by the Center for Countering Disinformation, this approach helps conceal the sources of the attack and delays the response of security services. Poland will purchase 200 American anti-aircraft missiles for F-35 aircraft. The first deliveries are expected as early as next year, and the country's Ministry of Defense believes that the contract demonstrates the strength and integration of the Polish-American alliance. Poland is also receiving other types of American equipment, including F-35s and an air defense management system. I should add that there are currently about 10,000 American military personnel stationed in Poland, and Poland has also decided to replace its old Soviet Kilo-class submarine with modern Swedish A-26 submarines from Saab. These are equipped with advanced technologies and are capable of conducting reconnaissance and delivering precise strikes against both sea and land targets. Poland will purchase 3 A-26 submarines, and the Navy will receive the first submarine by 2030. The contract is worth more than $2.7 billion, and Pope Leo XIV is currently on a visit to Turkey. This is his first official trip abroad. On Friday, the head of the Holy See was welcomed at the Cathedral of the Holy Spirit in Istanbul. Later, he plans to visit a nursing home. The main reason for the visit is the 1700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea. On Sunday, the pontiff will fly to Lebanon. This is the final part of the trip, which will last until December 2nd. I should add that the Vatican considers Lebanon an example of religious tolerance.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.